there a such thing as being too honest? Is there? Honestly. Stay tuned. It's Bad Dog Podcast. You are now listening to Bad Dog Podcast. Hello. Thank you guys for tuning in to Bad Dog Podcast once again. Our apologies for not posting Monday. So what we're gonna start doing now is post Wednesday and Friday. Okay, I know we said, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but unfortunately, our schedules don't allow us to do that all week. So I'll be giving it to you guys Wednesday and Friday, which brings us to our category, our topic for today, which is honesty. Now, I asked you guys, is it possible to be too honest? Is there such thing as just too much honesty? Well, let's find out, man. So today that's what we're talking about, man. We're talking about honesty. And so I got the definition right here. So the definition says the quality of being honest. That's honesty. So we're gonna jump right into it. So my take on it is, before I get started, you guys drop a comment down below and let me know if you guys think that if there's a such thing as being too honest. Too much honesty. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Go ahead and drop your comments down there, and we'll see what you guys are talking about and reply to them in a fashion, in a in a timely manner. So anyway, so I'm gonna tell you guys my first crime, and it kind of deals into honesty. So when I was like 11 or 12, I got caught shoplifting. I was shoplifting, and so the secret shoppers at the place that I was shoplifting from, they caught me, and they said, "Hey, you have to come with us. We got you on tape, stealing a whole bunch of stuff, so come with us," right? So bam, so I go down, and they got this little, they have like a secret wall in which behind the wall, like, they got all of these cameras that's watching the whole store, and I was totally unaware. And so anyway, long story short, I ended up getting caught. And I was young. I was still a minor, so they couldn't really like call the police and let the police deal with it. So what they did was they called my grandmother. Now, I must remind you guys, my grandmother is one of the most honest people I know. She was a God-fearing woman. She went to church every Sunday, Wednesday, and even sometimes on Friday. She was the real deal. And so when the security guard had captured me, he asked me my name, and I lied. I told him my name was like Marquez or something. I don't know. I just came up with a name. That was like my alias. So for those who may have gotten the name Marquez, it most likely was me. So anyway, I told him my name was like Marquez Johnson or Jackson or something. I don't know. And so he asked me. He was like, "Well, we have to call your guardian so that they can come pick you up." So bam. So I tried to call my mom. My mom didn't answer. She was busy. And so my last resort was to call my grandmother. So I called my grandmother, and this was literally the conversation. It was, "Hello? Hi, ma'am. We have your grandson here, Marquez Johnson." And my grandma, she paused for a second. She said, I don't know no Marquez. She said, yeah, I don't have a grandson named Marquez. I have a grandson named Troy McDaniel. Now if it's Troy McDaniel, then yeah, that's my grandson, but I don't know no Marquez. Hey, could it be Troy McDaniel? You guys probably got the names mixed up. Ask him if his name is Marquez, whatever you told me, or if it's Troy McDaniel, right? So you can imagine, and the security guard, he has it on, he has it on speaker. And so you could just see like my whole demeanor just changed. I even turned the other way. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be here. And so the officer, he's got security guard, he goes, oh, okay. So he lied about his name. Okay, ma'am. So unfortunately, we're going to have to call the police, and they're going to book him into the juvenile hall detention facility, in which you can call them and you can get the whereabouts of when you can pick him up, his court dates, and all of that stuff. And yeah, from there, that was my first ever crime, not being honest. And now thinking about it, it's kind of foolish, because if I just would have told him, like, my real name, he would have called my grandma. My grandma, she would have been pissed, but she would have still came and got me, and I would have never been in the system. That's fascinating. But unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbled. I ended up spending like a day, like juvenile hall. It was so nice. Like they even fed me. I came late. They even fed me. I woke up the next morning to a guy yelling at me over the intercom, telling me to, pack my stuff up. I'm going home. I didn't even have to go to court for the shoplifting. They ended up dropping it because I was a minor. And yeah, I got to go home. But unfortunately, I wouldn't even been in that predicament if I was honest. So what our topic is today is honesty. And one of the things I want to talk to you guys about honesty is that honesty helps us grow. Honestly, it does. It helps us grow, because think about it. If let's say, for an example, because I had friends, I had friends who, didn't really keep up with their hygiene as well as they should have. You see what I'm saying? We're all young. We're playing every sport you could think of under the sun: football, basketball, baseball, soccer. You know what I'm saying? Anything we can pretty much, get our hands on. And as boys, growing up, like we just do stuff, so we would play sports, and then we would go home, and then like we would, lay down and just like watch TV and like, wait for dinner to be done. And, of course, the women that we stayed with, which is, our moms, sisters, I had cousins and aunties, which I was fortunate enough to have. And, they broke it down for me. They've been like, Troy, you're getting a little bit older now, which means that you're becoming a man. So you're gonna need to go hop in the shower, because you're starting to smell. You see what I'm saying? You're starting to smell like a grown man. You see what I'm saying? So now you have to start being more responsible and take care of yourself. So as a young boy, having women tell you this, of course, women that you respect and you love, it helps you to grow into a different light. You see what I'm saying? So now, the guys that I'm mingling with, you see what I'm saying? Now I can pass that knowledge on to them. Like, yeah, man, look, man, when you're done, man, just go ahead and hop in the shower, and then, do this, and like, it's all good. You see what I'm saying? Back then, people weren't telling us stuff like that, man. Like, they just weren't. Like, of course, like basketball practice, football practice, stuff like that. Like, that's Mando. It's like, hey, you guys, hit the showers. That's part of the routine. But if you're like a kid who is not into organized sports, or didn't play organized sports until later, that's not a natural habit of yours. And so having people that have enough respect for you to tell you, you know what I'm saying, hey, look, man, this is what's going on, this is what you need to do. Oh man, it helps you tremendously. And like, even as, growing up, having, these people that you're close to, it's always good to have those people in your circle, man, that are honest, man. You never want people around you that's gonna lie to you, man. That's like the worst, man. That's like, having a kick me sign on your back and everybody kicking you, and then you ask your friends like, hey man, why is everybody kicking me, man? Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. They probably don't like your shirt. I don't know. And it's like, no, bro, you got to kick me something back here. Let me get this for you. And a lot of the times in life, we don't have those people around us all the time. So we need to surround ourselves with those people. You don't want to surround yourself with people who aren't honest, who don't like honesty. Being honest makes them uncomfortable, because what happens is they're not grown. They haven't grown to their, to their full potential, or they haven't gotten to their full potential yet. And so these are people who are going to take, honest feedback very, very negatively. You see what I'm saying? And even with having friends who get feedback from other people that they may not agree with because the delivery wasn't, it wasn't right. It didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? So they always got, people in their circle to say, nah, I see what he was saying. Look, this is what he was saying, bro. He may not say it in a way that you liked, but this is what he was saying, and he's absolutely right. And then when somebody tells you that stuff, you appreciate it. You go, man, thank you, man. I never I never thought about it like that, man. And like, you really broke it down for me. So that brings me to my other point, is having honesty too. It's about the delivery. You're not doing it to be, to just be nitpicking at people. You see what I'm saying? Like, you want to be honest with people so they can grow. If you're not being honest with people, you're not helping them grow. You're just making sure that they just stay the same. And that's not what we want. We always want to elevate in this journey that we call life. Always. I want to be, a better human being that I was, last year. Hell, I want to be a better human being than I was yesterday, because there may have been things yesterday that I did, certain situations that I handled that I didn't handle correctly. And so I want to fix it. I want to shift it and take a mental note and say, you know what, that wasn't cool. I need to handle it like this. And so part of being human, man, is growing and being honest with one another so that we all can grow. We all want to grow. Nobody wants to stay the same. Staying the same is boring. We want to grow and evolve into, better people than we were yesterday. You see what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest, the main thing about honesty, what I feel like a lot of people stray away from, is that it hurts. And it hurts. And a lot of the times the stuff that feels good for us isn't necessarily the stuff that feels good to us necessarily isn't good for us. And the things that, doesn't feel good to us, it usually is, it's good for us, it's healthy for us. And so that's a lot of times what being honest, that's what it does a lot of the times. It helps us to, take that pain and learn from it and gain something from it. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people, they try to avoid it. They don't want to, I don't want to ruffle no one's feathers. I just want to kind of just, be cool. I want to agree with everyone. And that's not realistic. You're not going to agree with everyone's opinion. And that's okay. That's okay. That's the cool thing about, our, being free and being, having that individuality, is that we're not always going to have the same ideas. We're not going to always connect on the same levels. And that's okay, because I can appreciate you thinking from a different angle than how I think. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times we don't want yes men and yes women just around us agreeing with everything that we don't want that, because there's no growth in that. You see what I'm saying? We want to be around people that's going to, tell us, if, you know, if I made a bad joke, let me know. If I said something disrespectful, hey, just let me know. That way I don't say it again. You see what I'm saying? It's like, you know, especially in prison, man. In prison, you learn a lot just from different cultures of people, you know, certain stuff that may be, you know, disrespectful, you know, to, you know, other people. It may not be disrespectful to you, and vice versa. And it all comes down to, you know, responsibility. You know, being honest comes with responsibility, man. And that's where we want to get to, you know, in this thing of life. We want to get to a place to where we're responsible, and if we see something out of whack, we can address it so that it's corrected, and then we never have to visit this conversation again. You see what I'm saying? It's like having someone that has a skill that they perform that they're really into. And you know, a lot of people may have told them that, oh yeah, man, you're good. Oh yeah, man, you're good. But that's not what people really want to hear. Like I'll like people who enter a craft, they don't enter the craft, you know, in most cases, they don't enter the craft for the attention of people that's gonna just agree with them. They enter, you know, a certain craft or a certain field of, you know, expertise because they want to become better at it. You see what I'm saying? You can't grow from winning all the time. You can't. You learn from your losses. And it's the same thing with you know, just whatever you're doing in life. You need honesty. That's why sometimes like a lot of like celebrities, like a lot of the times they will go to their closest families for real feedback so that they can grow. Because a lot of the times, like, think about it, like your assistant, you know, you pay his salary, you know, you're paying everyone's salary around you. So, you know, in some cases, people's psychology is, well, I don't want to piss him off and then he fires me. So just, you know, tell him what he wants to hear, you know, or tell him what, you know, you think he would want to hear. Don't tell him nothing that's gonna, you know, make him mad or anything. In a lot of cases, like, nah, I'm not gonna get mad. I want to know so that I can fix it. You see what I'm saying? So this is where we want to get to in society. We want to get to a place to where we can honestly, you know, tell people, hey, look, that may not have been a good thing to say. What you probably would want to say next time is this, that, and the other thing, and move on. It doesn't have to be a big argument. It doesn't have to be a big, you know, it doesn't have to be a big debate. You know, as long as you get your point across of being honest with somebody, then they can take the feedback and do what they want with it. You see what I'm saying? We don't never want to get into a place to where we have to argue, you know, our points and how, you know, we feel about certain stuff. We never want to get to that point, because then like that's showing immaturity and showing that we're not growing in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So that's the main thing. And then the other thing is too, there's always my grandma used to always say, there's a right way to do anything. There's a right way to do anything. But there's also a million ways to do everything. So you guys always want to make sure that you guys are being considerate of, you know, people's, you know, egos, you know, people's personalities when you're being honest with them. Because in my experience, they're going to appreciate you for it. They're going to, you know, at first they may not agree with it. And again, like, if you're around people who you can't be, you know, brutally honest with so that they can grow, then a lot of the times they themselves haven't grown, and you don't need to associate with them at that time. You may need to give them time so that they can grow. And a lot of you guys probably seen this before. You know, a lot of you guys probably like that had fallouts with like friends, your mom, family members about certain stuff. And then over time, you know, they get a chance to reflect on it. Then they come back and they say, hey man, you know, I was thinking about what you said last time. You know, we got into that little argument, man. And you know what? You were right. You were right. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times, like, this is where a lot of relationships that, when it comes to miscommunication, a lot of times this is where the communication comes back into play, because somebody was honest and because somebody had time to reflect and really take the feedback and say, you know what, I think he was right, man. Yeah, man, I think, I do this too much. Or, you know what, man, I probably need to do this more. You see what I'm saying? So we all have to grow. Nobody's perfect. And it doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't have to be a big, combative thing. My biggest thing is, I feel like a lot of people, especially now, and just how society is, coercing us to behave, and what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, is they don't want people to be combative. Like, they don't want friction. And you got a lot of people out there who will avoid confrontation and just agree with everything, because they don't know how to navigate through, being honest with somebody, or being honest about a certain situation and moving forward. And also, a lot of them, they don't know how to anticipate what may be the outcome of that honesty. That'd be the other thing. And that's where you have to be confident, and you have to, believe that, your honesty is going to help that person grow, and you're coming from a place of love. That's what it's all about. Honesty is love, man. Honesty is the best policy. If I gotta, step on eggshells around you, because you get mad about certain things that that you probably need to correct, then I don't need to be around you. It's just that simple. You see what I'm saying? It's like I tell you guys, like, animals are so freaking honest, man. So freaking honest. You see what I'm saying? It's like when we do consultations with people, the we always say there's two sides to the story. There's the owner side of the story, and then there's the dog side of the story. When we first get there, we hear the owner side of the story, and then when we meet the dog tells us everything we need to do. If the dog jumps on us, as soon as we meet the dog, it's because people have been petting the dog in this state of mind all the time. And so the dog is just, trying to give people what they want. You see what I'm saying? So, a lot of the times, we as, dog trainers, behavior coaches, we have to be honest with the owner and say, look, the reason why the dog is doing this is because of this. But never to fear. All we have to do is stop doing this. Because if we stop, giving the dog affection at these certain times, then the dog will understand that every time they see someone, it's not a big deal. See, the dog is just doing this because the dog believes that this is what you guys want. Like, you guys want me to get crazy excited every time we see people. And, what the dog doesn't understand is that, there's old people, there's kids, you even have people who are very, very, they're very, very nervous when it comes to dogs. And they, because of those reasons right there. Because when they first meet the dog jumps on them and expecting them to give them the same affection that other people have gave the dog in the past. So, that's all it is, man. It's just being honest so that we can grow. We can never grow if we're continuing to feed BS to each other. We can't get nowhere. We have to be able to grow, and we have to get to a place to where we're not so sensitive, so that we can take the feedback and we can actually apply it. Because a lot of the times too, as humans, we will hear something and then we'll consume it real fast, and then we'll give our initial reaction, or we'll give our initial feeling. And a lot of times that is the wrong energy, and that's the wrong method to take when we are receiving feedback. You see what I'm saying? So again, you guys go ahead, leave comments down below, And man, yeah, man, do you still think that too much honesty is a bad thing? Is there such thing as being too honest? Because again, like I said, if you agree with someone lying to someone that they're the best basketball player they ever seen, and then they go up, to practice, or they go, for a tryout to be on a team, and they don't make the team, how much have we prepared them to be successful, or have we set them up for failure? That's what you got to think. I don't want to set my friends up for failure. I want to set them up for success and let them know, like, man, listen, this is what you're going to do. You might want to practice a little bit more. I'm just saying, practice a little bit more. And they'll take the feedback, and they'll, do whatever they do with it. But again, the main thing is like us being responsible and giving that honest feedback. That's what people, that's what people want. People want, give me your honest opinion. Give me your honesty about this. How do you feel about this? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, like I told you guys, Wednesday and Friday we'll be posting more great content. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and continue to stay perfect, man. Continue to stay perfect. We'll see you guys next time.